Ready, hunt!
From the Apopco Studios in Oklahoma City, this is a Cable Motors OU update. I'm Jenny Carlson with Travis Haney. Travis on the phone from Norman. Travis, it's been a crazy week with conference realignment. We thought last week was nuts, but Wednesday might have been the wackiest day yet. Catch us up on what you know to be true right now as things stand for Oklahoma.
Well, Texas A&M leaving was kind of nutty enough for everyone here, and everyone trying to wrap their minds around that. And you know, Baylor stuck its neck out there, and we saw, I guess it was Tuesday, that Baylor issued sort of a PR campaign to save the state of Texas football and things like that, and we all thought, well, that's cute. Well, they had a little bit more firepower behind that, at least retaining their option to sue the SEC and have legal action against the SEC, and making that known. Later in the day, Iowa State does the same thing. Then supposedly there's a report that between 6 or 8 schools in the Big 12 might be trying to at least leverage OU to stay in the league, and then they would allow Texas A&M to go to the SEC. And, you know, I mean, it's just been crazy. It's been impossible almost to keep up with, and you don't know who's telling the truth, who's trying to push their own agenda. It's a mess right now, and frankly, it doesn't really make the Big 12 look all that good on a national perspective, but I guess this is just sort of the reality of it. And from Baylor's end, you can understand why it would try and do this. You know, it feels like it has to protect its own interest at all costs, and A&M's just trying to leave, and OU's not quite sure what it wants to do. So everybody's kind of at an impasse here, and until these things get resolved internally, there's not going to be any external resolution.
Is there any way to know how these next few days may go, or are things so up in the air at this point? As you reported today, Oklahoma officials saying that they knew nothing of this supposed group of 6. I mean, things like you say, you don't know what to believe, but is there any way to know what may transpire in the next few days?
Well, I guess what's really funny is that I don't think any of this will change the end result. You know, I think A&M's still going to wind up in the SEC, and I think there's a pretty darn good chance that OU and the other 3 schools that have been mentioned, Texas being one of them, is probably still going to wind up in the Pac-12. It's just a matter of how it all kind of plays out, and whether Baylor chooses to eventually get out of the way, and if anybody else is a partner with Baylor in that, Iowa State or anybody else, if they eventually choose to stand down and let things play out the way that they're going to. And I suspect that's eventually what's going to happen, is whether it be through the legal process or just cooler heads prevailing, that it'll eventually move forward and A&M will go to the SEC, and then potentially those other dominoes would fall then. But as we saw last summer, there's no guarantee when there's all these moving parts and egos and powers in place, and it's just so complicated right now that you don't want to forecast even 5 minutes from now, much less next week.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks, Travis. We appreciate it. And thanks for joining us here on the Cable Motors OU Update.